This is Stacy Marshall with Printwear Magazine.
Matt Vassallo with the RhinestoneWorld.com.
Richard Greaves with ScreenMaking.com.
Brian Walker with RTP Apparel.
This is Peter Walsh with M&R, and you're listening to the Two Regular Guys podcast.
Podcast hosted by
Terry Combs.
Terry Combs.
Terry Combs.
And
Aaron Montgomery.
Aaron Montgomery.
Aaron Montgomery.
Keep on listening.
I don't know if these guys are that regular.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. It is Friday, December 3rd, 2021. I'm Terry Combs, and you can find me at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me over at oursuccessgroup.com. Terry, today we've got a very special guest joining us, David Gross, the president of Condi Systems, and he's going to talk to us about sublimation success. I've been geeked up all morning about this. People that know me know that I'm a sublimation guy. I just love the process. I think it's so cool what you can create. And David Gross is just somebody I've always looked up to and can't wait to learn from him today. So,
and
Terry,
Aaron, what
ready?
it is, you're a sublimation nerd. So.
Exactly. Maybe there needs to be a group, Sublimation Nerds or something. But for sure. So I'm very excited about this and can't wait to talk to David. But Terry, we've got a couple of news items here that we want to share first before we get to David. So you want to start us off?
Absolutely. Plus, my coffee mug, I've switched out for December. It's Milk for Santa mug. I thought that the mug you gave me a couple of years for Christmas that simply says may contain alcohol would be inappropriate during this holiday season. So,
really? Inappropriate for who?
Maybe for the New Year's show.
Okay. Good. I like it. Go ahead then.
All right. Well, I want to remind everybody that the Reggie Awards are coming to a close on December 9th. So don't wait. Get out there and do your voting. December 9th at 5 p.m. Central, Center of the Universe time. And up on the screen there, or for our listeners on podcast version, it's regularguys.com/Reggies_vote. And get in there and place your votes. It's really super easy to do. And a lot of activity over there, Aaron, as I understand.
Yeah, definitely been a lot of activity. In fact, I've had a little bit of challenge with the service that we use over there, but I hope that I've got it solved. So if anybody is finding that there's some issue that the voting is closed, please let me know right away. Just info@tworegularguys.com, or you can reach out to me. However, I have now fixed it twice, so we'll see.
But after 5 o'clock on December 9th, don't call Aaron and say, hey, voting is closed and I really, really need to vote for XYZ person.
Yeah.
It's closed, man.
I've already placed my vote for you, Terry, so don't reach out, all right?
All right. Also, Aaron, I wanted to mention something that came across, actually, that you forwarded over to myself and Eric, the Impressions Community Service Award, which is very cool. Sounds like something we would do. It's Impressions Expo is thankful for you, as they say. And after enduring some of the most unprecedented times in our nation's history, we've heard countless stories of industry suppliers and decorators putting others first. And I know we've talked about this on our show here many times, Aaron. Honoring the spirit of humanitarianism and good works in our communities, Impressions wants to recognize the spirit of giving back. If you know a decorator or supplier that's taken action to give back, nominate them for the Impressions Community Service Award. The nomination deadlines is coming right up. It's 12/17, so you've got a couple of weeks. Submissions can be for an individual or a company as a whole. And submissions must be a written email or a link or video that highlights and describes this nominee's philanthropic work. And Eric has up on the screen the link. I'm sure you can go to Impressions Magazine as well and make nominations. But I think what a cool idea this is.
Yeah, I love it. And good on Impressions for putting something like that together and being able to do that. So definitely get in there. There's, I can think of countless people that are worthy of this. And so, get in there. It says he's written email or a link to a video that highlights it. So I'm sure that stuff's out there, or you can create something real quick. I think that's really cool. So, Terry, before I get to my stuff here, I just wanted to check in with some of the regulators. We have people are checking in saying good morning. So good morning to Cindy. and Todd, good morning, and Tammy checking in, and Kristen and Rich, and good morning to Justin and Creative Vibe Design Studio, and then former guest on the show, Sheila Ryan, checking in. Good morning to you. Josta from Sweden. I think I'm getting better at pronouncing his name. So I even got the thumbs up from Eric. So I'm closer, you know. And then Kim Johnson, happy Friday. And last but not least, Kathleen, thanks for being here. Awesome. So Terry, just a couple quick things. One thing from me and then one thing from some friends of the show here. So if you are an embroiderer and want to learn more about digitizing text, Justin Armenta of the Embroidery Nerds and JA Digitizing has a seminar that's actually happening tomorrow. And it says noon on there. I'm not sure which time zone that is, but sometime.
Well, surely it's central, right? Is that the center of the universe?
I would assume that everybody operates on center of the universe time here, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So anyways, it's happening tomorrow midday, and you can sign up for it at theembroiderynerd.com/text-talk-webinars. And it is right there on the screen for those of you tuned in live. So check that out, and should be a great presentation. Justin always does great work. He gets the thumbs up from Eric, so that's always my notification that it's good embroidery stuff, right? All right, and then so check that out. Good stuff happening over there. And then I just wanted to announce also at our success group, we just announced our year-end success sale over at oursuccessgroup.com. So our 5 Keys program, kind of our signature pilot program, is 58% off. And you also will get a set of 3 bonus resources worth $150. And this offer is good through the end of the year. So you can go check it out at oursuccessgroup.com/5 keys, or just go to the website. You'll see it right there on the front. And we're really excited to get this into more people's hands and help them build the foundation of their business. And I've already gotten tons of fantastic feedback. Even some of the new people that have signed up are already diving in, and just the first 2 keys alone, the knowing your overhead and learning how to price your products for profit, will make a huge difference in your business. But then there's 3 other keys to go after that. So
Aaron, in January, will you report on the success of your success sale at our success group?
and we want to bring in more S's. We are sponsored by the letter S this week. For those of you that are familiar with Sesame Street, yes. So there's a lot of S's in there. And the great part is, my co-founder of our success group, Todd Downing, good friend of ours, he came up with the name, and he definitely gets to struggle with those S's a lot too. So it's pretty funny.
S Downing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right or not.
No, it's not. But, all right. Well, there we go.
But making jokes, I think it's time, Aaron.
It's speaking of
it
jokes,
looks like
right?
You have submitted your own dad joke for this week.
And I have a dad joke, and this one's even more special to me personally, because this is a dad joke from my dad that he intended to tell to my son, so for his grandson. So it's that level of joke. So hang on, buckle your seatbelt. Are you ready, Terry?
I'm ready. Let's hear it.
What do you call a fish with 2 knees?
I don't know. What do you call a fish with 2 knees?
A toonie fish. Tuna fish.
That is a groaner. That's a dad joke for sure.
That's a dad joke.
That's a granddad joke.
That's right. That is a granddad joke. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I know my 10-year-old did. So love it.
All right, Aaron. Hey, before we go any further, we want to thank everybody for checking out the 2 Regular Guys podcast. We are always looking for new guests, as we announce every week. If you or anyone you know would like to join us, go to calendly.com/2 Regular Guys, and share some show ideas with us. If you're listening to the podcast version of our show, we would appreciate you sharing the 2 Regular Guys with all your industry friends right now, so they can become regulators too. We would appreciate you sharing reviews for us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Podcast. We are everywhere, thanks to Aaron. And wherever you do your podcast listening, if you jump in there, take 30 seconds out of your day and give us a review. It's really, really helpful for us. And if you're watching us live right now, and I'm sure this is going to happen, please join in with your sublimation questions. I'm sure there are lots of them, and we have the right guy on here this week to help us out.
Yes, indeed. It is going to be great to talk to David here, and looking forward to that. But like Terry said, love the reviews, appreciate all that. So Impressions Expo, I just want to make a quick mention about that. For those of you that don't realize what time of year it is here, we are coming up on the January edition of Long Beach. It will be back in full effect this year. So make sure you get over to impressionsexpo.com and check them out and make sure that you're signed up. Hopefully we'll get to see you out in Long Beach. I'm still trying to figure out how I can get there. So if anybody needs any help out there and wants to help me cover some expenses, I'm open. But anyways, that's a whole different story.
You know, Aaron, Jay Bassell and I have been brainstorming all week about our new booth, since it's been a couple of years since we've had a big booth, and we're getting pretty darned excited about going out to Long Beach. And of course, I'm going to be doing a seminar there called Everything You've Heard About Direct-to-Garment Printing on the Internet is Wrong. So I'm kind of excited about that too.
Nice. Well, that'll be great. So make sure you guys check out impressionsexpo.com and get registered. Not only is Terry teaching there, Eric has got 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't know, probably just going to be teaching the entire 3 days, but
he'll be in the Eric Campbell wing of the seminar area.
That's right. Just follow the statue of Eric and you'll get there. So all right. Well, Terry, are you ready to bring in our guest and talk some sublimation here?
Let's get going.
All right. Well, we want to welcome in David Gross, who is the president of Condi Systems. He's also an electrical engineer, and according to him, has been spending too many years drinking the sublimation coffee. So welcome into the show, David.
Thank you, guys. First, let me just say what a great job you do and the hard work you put in all this time. How many years have you been doing this?
We are coming up. So this is our 9th season of
Wow.
this. So yeah, so this will be so just shortly under 9 years. So we'll start into our 10th season next year.
Starting with what are we going to talk about every week?
I remember you folks huddling at a show somewhere, and suddenly you go live, and you're grabbing people from here and there, getting them on the mic, and what a cool thing.
Yeah, it's been fun.
So, you know, in my case, started many years ago, and the great folks at NBM, now Graphics Pro, I started writing for them. And in principle, what I was doing was responding to an issue we had in our industry. And that is, we had industry, what we call roadkill. People would get into sublimation, and in a short time later, they were not doing sublimation. And when you'd ask them, things would happen, equipment failures, unsuccessful, and they would always say, well, could be me, you know, and the time I have and my skill set. Could be that sublimation is just not ready for prime time. Yeah. And so I sort of set my goal to help people stay on the road to sublimation success and not end up as roadkill. And it's been a great journey all these years. So that's really our mode here. And, you know, I tell people that to an extent, for many years, sublimation, as you know, Aaron, was a really well-kept secret, you know?
Yes.
And, you know, it was sort of a mystery. And by the way, I used to say, drink the sublimation Kool-Aid, but many people don't know what that expression means. and actually, it's a pretty bad expression, you know?
Yeah.
So had to revise that, but it's just been all these trends here. I tell people, to an extent, sublimation is an enabling technology. And I don't think there will ever be any bounds of what sublimation can do. It'll keep expanding. Yeah. And of course, it's all about the substrates that people can make with sublimation. Is what you can do. Yeah. And like many technologies, whether it be DTG or others, Sublimation, I think, goes after people like me that have a really bad case of ADD, and so it's the Google mentality.
Yeah.
I want it now, and I want it my way.
That's right.
And so that's why it's so cool to do sublimation, because of just a couple of minutes from now, look what you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And
You
David,
know, I have to say, Eric and I are both shaking our heads going, oh, I get it. Now I know why Aaron is so into sublimation.
that's right. You just hit the nail on the head there, David. But David, I also love the fact that you brought up that sublimation was kind of a well-kept secret, right? And in fact, I know you've written some books, and we're going to talk about that. But maybe you and I should get together and write a book about all the different ways people said the word sublimation. And I know you've heard them all. I've heard a lot. So, anyways,
I used to screen print sublimation transfers 40 years ago on 20-pound typing paper, or what people today would call copy paper. So
wow,
but yeah, it was kind of a secret then too. But
yeah, I've traced the history of sublimation back, and you're at really around the 1937, 38 is when some folks observed accidentally that some synthetic dyes called dispersed dyes, when heated, stained acetate materials. And from there, they started figuring out, and then polyester was invented a few years later, became a very important invention for World War II, nylon, polyester kind of thing. And from there, they started screen printing the transfers. And then they started using printing presses to print the transfers, and you could press them later. And then, you go up to around 1981, which is sort of when the digital revolution started. And then we did some sublimation with ribbon printers. We then started transitioning to inkjet printers, piezo print heads, things like that. And then the revolution just literally went viral.
Oh, the history. We didn't know we were getting the history. That is so
Yeah.
cool.
So as far as books here, what I've tried to do is distill a lot of the information for anybody that wishes to read them, to help them, again, on the road to sublimation success. And the first book was just we'll call it The Road to Sublimation Success. Been out, I guess, coming up on 2 years. Just really sort of an overview of things like that. And then we did a book together with another author, Steve Spence, on 125 ways to make money with sublimation. And again, doesn't matter what the technology is, right? You need to figure out how to make money with it, how to maximize your profits. I mean, it's a printer. It's sitting there. It's a heat press. It's sitting there. It doesn't care what you do with it. It doesn't care what market you use it for. And so your job is very simple. Maximize the profit potential of your investment. And I think many people have trouble with that. One of my favorite sayings is, don't let your opinions get in the way of making money. And you'll talk to people all the time. They'll go, I'm not going to sell that product. I don't care for it. And I have to tell them in a very kind and polite way that you're not the one sending money in. It's your clients. It's your prospects that turn into clients. And therefore, you should offer products that your clients want to buy. I had an award shop one time said, the last thing I'd ever sell is flip-flops. And I go, well, let me tell you that when people come in there, very often it's wedding related. And a great bridesmaid's gift is flip-flops, So again, you have to take things with a very different set of eyes on the sales and marketing side to really maximize that potential.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. Go ahead, Terry.
I was just going to say, I live in Arizona, so at any given show that we have here, I might be wearing flip flops. So,
But I will tell people that I will not be caught dead with flip flops. I'm not a flip flop person. Now everybody in my family wears them, but it's just not how I was raised. And Jimmy Buffett is from Mobile. So, he went to the high school that my kids went to. He was kicked out, by the way. And then he went to Auburn, where he was kicked out of Auburn. But of course, he's an absolutely amazing person with all that he's accomplished in his life, and certainly a model to look at in some respects.
Yeah.
One things that we're going to talk about at the end of the broadcast today is sort of, we'll call it, not reinventing the wheel. When you figure out what works, well, you want to write it down. And we need to force people to document their successes, document their failures, document their questions, because if we don't do that, guess what? We're going to just repeat the challenges that we've had. So, I have at least once a day, Terry and Aaron, I'll have a client call me and they'll say, sublimation is not working anymore for us. And I'll go, what changed? And he says, well, and there'll be a pause. They say, we lost our operator. She is pregnant, she's on leave, whatever. And we don't remember how to do things. We don't know the time, temperatures, and all this kind of stuff. And literally, they're going to start from scratch. Where if you were documenting your processes, documenting what's working for you, then guess what? You've got a way to really get back to your success formula. The latest book, and then we'll get rid of the books and talk shop here, is probably the product, other than maybe mugs, that's really put sublimation on the global theater, has been Chromaluxe. Chromaluxe is just an amazing technology. It's basically an incremental improvement in coating, and it has brought sublimation to the high value point. And that's what everything we should be doing. It's all about value. We're here to deliver value, and we would hope that value translates into profit, right? And so Chromaluxe, to me, is one of the highest value. So, for instance, Cindy Sherman is perhaps, I think, is the highest grossing fine art photographer in the world. And she exclusively uses Chromaluxe. And I was doing a little research for the book, and I noticed that she had sold 2 Chromaluxe panels several years ago. It was sold in Berlin, and it was about $500,000. Wow.
Wow.
And so, again, it's the value of it. It looks good. And so she now just uses Chromaluxe. So when we're creating value out there, it's really 3 elements. Number 1, it's the underlying blank substrate, whether that be a mug or a piece of metal. Number 2 is the artwork, what's on there, the photography, the whatever you want to call it, artwork.
Yeah.
And then number 3, which I think is the area that people need help the most with, is sales and marketing. That, to a lot of people, is the missing link. They are not able to really get in gear, get on that road, accelerate with their sales and marketing strategy. I know, Aaron, your group is so much involved with that. And to me, that is the key for most sublimators, is that it comes with pricing. How do we price our products? It's a challenge for people.
Sure.
Well, let's take a step back and talk a little bit about what sublimation can do. And I know I explain this all the time, and David, you have to all the time as well. So how many times a day do you have to explain to someone what you can and can't do with sublimation, and why do you think that is?
So I've revised my answer to that probably 1,000 times. And now what I refer to is sublimation to try to distinguish it from, say, DTG or other technologies like UV printing, is sublimation is subsurface decorating, meaning that at the end of the day, the dyes are inside the product, they're inside the coating, and that makes them impervious to chemicals. It's graffiti resistant, it's abrasion resistant, certainly has some great fade characteristics. And so sublimation is just a phenomenon of nature, but the end result is that we can produce a color gamut that is utterly amazing, bright, vivid colors, and because it's underneath, it's protected in ways that no other technology are. But so essentially, sublimation is using some synthetic dyes. We call them dispersed dyes, that when you heat these dyes, they turn into a gas and they do what's called dye diffuse into the substrate or the coating. Now, what sublimation is after a oil-loving molecule. And for instance, a water-loving molecule like cotton, it just will not stay in the molecular matrix. But when it sees an oil-loving molecule, it will. And so basically during the heating process, we don't have cold fusion sublimation quite yet. But during the heating process, we reach essentially what's called T sub G, which is the glass transition point of the substrate or coating. That opens up the molecular structure so that the gas can go in, and then we remove the heat. And at that point in time, as it cools, we've trapped the dyes in the coating. So that's sort of the physics explanation of sublimation.
Yeah.
Today's implementation is it's almost a trivial process. It works so well. And we even have sublimation markers from the great folks at Artistry. So I joke, guys, that if your printer goes down, what you need to do is go to your wall, and you got the little glass plate says, in case of printer failure, break glass. You break it, you take your markers out, and you start coloring.
Draw away. I love it. I love it. David, I think a lot of the challenge though is around the white ink and the fact that there is no white ink in sublimation. Do you find that to be kind of the case too? People, they look at a t-shirt and they want to print onto a black t-shirt. How has that evolved for you over time? I know there's different technology there too, but technically you can't sublimate onto a dark garment, but there are some tricks, right?
So, Aaron, there's an evolving world for sublimation, and who knows what it'll be in 3 or 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately there are going to be additives that are put into sublimation inks that allow inks to do more. Wow. We certainly have worked on things like that, both from a substrate point of view, from a ink point of view, from a release paper point of view. Is how do you change this equation? How do you do more?
Yeah.
And to an extent, it's like the Japanese concept of Kaizen, where you're making incremental improvements.
Yeah.
But I would say that the products that are out today that incrementally help you with decorating, say, cotton, decorating a dark garment, they are not there. They have their place mainly with what I would call vivid full color vector art, where we can transfer using these special papers, using mainly vector colors, very bright, vivid colors. We can do that. There have been so many people that, again, sort of back to the roadkill syndrome, that have thrown money at this, very promising technologies, but it's getting them into market and being able to manufacture them, in volume. So I think there's a lot of potential out there. But today, what we can do with sublimation is we can do beautiful results on light colors, tremendous.
Yeah.
So whether it be a pastel, a light blue, a yellow, a peach color, things like that, the results are stunning. But I would say today the workarounds to go to a black shirt are limited. But we are testing products every day, networking with people, and I would say that there's a couple of promising, we'll call it workarounds, to be able to do more with sublimation today. So, every day sublimation is a very much active equation with its innovation. For instance, our glass allows you to, with the color light coating, allows you to really produce a stunning white. So you get you have an emulation of white, and you would say that's absolutely white on there, but it was done through the magic of coatings.
Nice. Wow. That's incredible. Well, that leads perfectly into the next area that I wanted to talk to you about, David, is this idea of substrates. And you, like you talked about, you guys are always doing stuff. I don't know anybody that has the breadth of substrates that you guys do at Condi. And so talk to us about substrates. What can they do? Can't they do? And maybe some of what the future holds there.
So we go back to the original substrate, and it was almost for sure polyester fabric. And, Aaron, Terry, back in the days, say 25 years ago, polyester was actually a dirty word. You talked about polyester, and they wondered what in the world's wrong with you. Nobody would have ever thought about wearing something that was polyester. But today, it's the fad. It's what you want to have. Whether you have a golf shirt, you need it to be polyester because it's smooth. It wicks moisture. So certainly in the polyester world has been where sublimation has gone viral, with clothing, with trade show backdrops, with big calendared presses, the bigger printers. Absolutely gone crazy. I was talking to a guy 2 days ago. We were talking about stadium blankets and how popular that is on, the big boys and girls like Shutterfly, Snapfish, all those. And, so there's just a lot of things. So polyester is out there. The next substrate that came along was some great folks, essentially invented the sublimation mug. And if I'd written their names down, I could tell you what they are, but they're great folks. I remember one, we call him Cactus Bob, but at any rate, they put in the hard work to take essentially a ceramic mug that had a glaze on it, which is glass, and then they would put a very tough, durable polyester coating. Now, that was not easy. And in fact, you think about a dishwasher, and the dishwasher is like firing bullets at the mug with its cleaning and its abrasiveness to clean something out. And they did it. And so today we have all these products that are coated with polyester that are a low cost substrate, but you put a great image on it, now it's high value. So mugs came next. Metal was close behind. It really focused first on the awards and engravings industry, which to some extent almost has gone away. You don't hear much about an award shop anymore, but that was where all the metal went to, with plaques and things like that, and just beautiful results there. And then you started seeing all these substrates come to market that really were, we'll call them permutations of that. For instance, we now have a fake leather product line, very large. People love it. You have so many products, and it's all about, addressing what people want. Give them what they want. They all want uniqueness. They want personalization. Um, and you think about whether it be a watch band, whether it be jewelry, whether it be socks. So it's a trend that is just has tremendous momentum.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I talk to people about sublimation, I always say, so do you have a coffee mug with the White House on it, or you have sublimation? It's right in your hand. But let's talk a little bit more, David. You've already brought up Chromaluxe. Anything, and since you have an entire book on that subject, anything you'd like to add about folks decorating with Chromaluxe?
Well, we can talk about the law of unintended consequences. I'm sure in John Maxwell's one of his books, he describes that or whatever. And for instance, the great folks at Universal Woods brought out a textured version of their products, and they have it on metal. And one of our folks here said, "Huh, I wonder if you can write on it with chalk." Well, guess what? You can. And
Wow.
so now you can take a piece of that. You could do a restaurant menu, point of purchase,
Wow.
some sort of sign talking about gone to lunch or our hours or what our specials are. And the best part is it breaks one of those laws of sublimation that we believe. And that is you can write the chalk directly on black. You can write it on white because the chalk is, surface decorating. It's going on top. It's not sublimation.
Yeah.
But the best part is you got all your colors in the sublimation world, like that almost neon pink. And so that would be something that I would say that everybody ought to jump on. They ought to be buying those textured products, whether they be MDF, whether they be hardboard or metal, and using them. One thing that I've revised my way of answering questions over 25 years. Now I'm a slow person. I'm very slow. So it takes me a while to start figuring out maybe things have changed. And I remember I used to answer questions with a yes or no answer. Can you sublimate to cotton? Well, no. So now I answer the question is, at this point in time, I don't know how to do it, but I no longer answer no because I have been proved wrong so many times. And of course, if you're married, you understand that very often your wife proves you wrong over and over again. So again, these are just habits that I've been very slow to master.
That is a very good point. Daily for me, I'm proven wrong by my wife. But so, David, when it comes
even when you're right,
yeah, when it comes to the Chromaluxe stuff, you talk about that. One of the things I remember seeing, and I could be wrong, but I thought one of the unique aspects of Chromaluxe is the fact that it is so durable. You talked about that earlier, that durability and resistance that I'd even seen. I think at one point somebody had taken a magic marker, a Sharpie, and had drawn on a decorated piece of Chromaluxe and was able to take off the magic marker, I'm not sure, magic marker Sharpie, and yet the image still looked great. I mean, is that the kind of level of strength and durability that those products have?
They do, and the reason is because the coating is exceptionally hard, and it's very tight, and so things like that just can't bite into the metal's coating.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite videos, you ought to go out there. I think it's on our YouTube channel, conditv.com. Was you had some folks, and I think they were around Greece. They did an underwater Chromaluxe gallery. And so they took a bunch of easels and a bunch of prints, and they put them in an underwater cave with lights, so that you could do a free dive down into the cave, swim through it to see all these really high-end prints being displayed. But yes, so for instance, you can spray paint a Chromaluxe panel, let it dry, come back with a lacquer thinner and wipe it off. So it's very impervious to chemicals, to graffiti resistant, abrasion resistant, and and also because it's so thick, if you look at it long enough, one of the reasons it looks so good with that thick coating is because light is entering it, and it hits the back of where the metal is. It goes through the coating and then comes back to the eye, and then another light hits the dyes that are suspended in the coating and then comes back to the eye, and the brain processes that as 3D. It sees depth to the image. And you don't know why, but you look at it and you say, well, that looks really good. And it's because of that optically clear coating that is so thick.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. Amazing. In fact, Eric put the link to the video up there in the comments section, so you can check that out over there at conditv.com. So, David, you talked about the Chromaluxe and this new book, and I know we talked about it a little bit, but maybe could you give us a little bit more detail as to, because there's 3 or 4 books now at this point.
So it's 4 books. One of the books, the 125 Ways to Make Money with Sublimation, was published many years ago, but just not updated. Gotcha. And so I pushed the author to have a modern publication. And all these books are available on Amazon, available at our website. But this is the critical book. If you learn to do sublimation, great. You invest in the equipment, great. You have a good printer, a good heat press. But I think many people are blind. They are literally blind to the opportunities that are just around them. And so you need a wake-up call. You need something to say, this is around me. So I tell people in my class, which I hope I'll teach in person one of these days, that there are 3 business opportunities that everyone needs to be involved with, regardless of what they think they're doing. Number 1 is they need to partner with a pet groomer. The follow the money, set up some products that people can buy with their pet photographs. Number 2 is they need to be involved with fundraising, pushing sublimation products into these fundraisers, because we're all tired of the kind of products that are typically involved with fundraisers. Mm-hmm. And then number 3 is I think everybody ought to be selling name badges. Sublimation does name badges better than any technology. They're durable, they're great looking. And through our videos, I teach sort of a PhD class in name badge philosophy, how to really maximize your income on name badges. And it's not obvious, I think. After you hear it, well, you go, okay, I get it. Yeah. Like for instance, putting information on the back of the name badge could be the reorder information, could be a mission statement, it could be emergency contact information. But you need to be adding those values. Here in this area of the country, we call this lagniappe. Y'all ever heard of lagniappe?
I've not.
So lagniappe is sort of a French word meaning a little bit extra. So I tell all our clients they need to be delivering extra, a little bit extra with everything you do.
Excellent. That's awesome. Great advice, David. Real quick, Terry, before we get to the next question that we've got for David, one of the regulators had a question about that Chromaluxe, the textured stuff that you mentioned, the MDF and the hardboard. Craig Bradley asked, can the hardboard be routed or laser cut?
So one of the trends we're seeing, Aaron and Terry, is that the laser is absolutely entering sublimation, especially the less expensive tabletop versions. And that's a great way for you to make your own custom products out of hardboard. You're not going to be laser cutting metal. You're not going to be easily cutting MDF, but hardboard is a sweet spot. So there's single-sided, double-sided hardboard, there's textured hardboard. And so those are just ideal products for doing custom cutting with a laser. You can route hardboard, you can route MDF, you can route metal, although I would say metal is more of an expert's area. It's you have to do everything right.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right. Well, David, as we're coming down to towards the end of our hour, let's say one of our listeners here today goes, "You convinced me. I'm ready. I want to be a sublimator." Where do they start? What kind of tools do they need?
It's an interesting question. So first is you certainly could speak with any of our Condi folks.
Yep.
And get your questions answered. We have a lot of videos at Condi TV, several thousand. So it's a lot to take in, and you can easily get lost. But it really comes down to what product first gets you excited. And I tell people that when they make their first product, guess who they need to make it for? Themselves, or potentially their spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. And that's going to get you excited. There's nothing like staying on the road to sublimation success by having a product that you made for yourself in a matter of minutes. But again, we can help you with your study. We can help you with your understanding. But here's the big but. It's like any field. You can study learning to drive a car for the rest of your life. Yeah. You can read everything, watch every video, but you're not going to learn to drive a car without driving a car. You learn to back it out, learn to drive around the neighborhood. You're not going to get on the interstate day one, right? And so, you've got to stop your pre-learning and start doing. The other analogy is that the best analogy of what sublimation is, it's really cooking. A great recipe, a great stove, equipment, the right accessories, the right ingredients produces a great product. So we're happy to help anyone explore getting on the journey with us.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. That the get out there and drive the car. In the Success Principles world, we call that take action. You can have all that shelf help, like you said, the pre-learning, but until you actually start putting it into practice, you'll never actually get.
You got to make that habit.
Yeah. Yep. I love it. So, David, you talked a little bit about some things that are maybe on the horizon potentially, but we'd love to kind of understand from you what you see as the future for sublimation.
That's a difficult question, but our job is, of course, to if you think about the three pillars of sublimation success, it's the process, the products or substrates, and then sales and marketing. And partnering with folks like you, we need to do all three of those better every day, every single day. We need to improve the reliability of the equipment. We need to teach better how to do the process. On the products, we need to continue to produce lots and lots of new products that help people make money. And then on the sales and marketing front, which is one of the more challenging parts of it, is we need to open people's eyes to the opportunities around them. Should you get on Etsy? Exactly what you should do. What should you do locally with your products? Should you focus on a particular niche? Something that you have a passion for. For instance, being an electrical engineer, I'm a big Tesla, Elon Musk fan. Well, how do you capitalize on that? Well, I think it's pretty easy. There's just a lot of products that you can produce regarding Tesla, SpaceX, the EV journey. But you want to tap into something that you have a passion for.
Yeah.
Well, I figure anybody that guest stars on The Big Bang Theory, like Elon Musk, is okay by me. David, you volunteered to do 5 things for us, but before we do that, where can people find you? Where can they find Condi Systems and learn more about sublimation?
So my email address is dgross@condi.com. That's DGROSS, Sam, at condi.com. That's CON is in Nancy, D is in David, E is in Edward.com, and of course, condi.com. I live in Mobile, where our headquarters is. We have warehouses both East and West Coast. So we're happy to help people with their products. We're at the premium part of ensuring that the products are the best quality. We have, sort of the good, best, better syndrome, or marketing situation with our products, where we address pretty much everybody's needs. But we're certainly the most technical out there. In addition, I think we're the only folks that offers 7-day-a-week support up until 9 p.m. Tech support, 9 p.m. Central Time, and it's so important to help people be successful, and that's the foundation of our company.
Yep. Wonderful, David. Well, thank you so much for all of this information. Like Terry said, we're going to have you present 5 things here, but Eric, can you take us into 5 things real quick, please? All right, David. Well, would you share with us the top 5 reasons for failure?
Well, the first one is not working with a partner who is motivated to help you. And certainly that's something that we do every day, every minute of the day throughout our organization. Number 2 would be failure to read and, of course, use the instructions that we provide, whether it be a video, whether it be the written instructions, whether it be a template. The third is having poor equipment. You're really not buying the piece of equipment that's going to give you good success. An example would be a Chinese heat press. Buy a good heat press like a George Knight. Typically, it's a lifetime warranty. The next is poor support. Work with someone that is going to listen to you, is going to help you with figuring out what's wrong. And face it, any new adventure that you get into, you've got to learn, but you want someone that's going to pull you along. And I think the last failure is underpricing your products. You think about a mug and the cost in a mug of being, say, $2 or something or less. And so you use some sort of crazy markup formula. Well, I guess I'm going to just double it, sell it $4. Well, that's not a reasonable market price for a mug. So we have spreadsheets that help you, give you some guidelines on pricing your products.
Wonderful.
Those are awesome. It's simple concepts, but true of any business. I love these, and I'm going to borrow them and give you credit the first time I share.
Just the first time.
Well, guys, thank you for putting in the hard work that you folks do. You obviously have just a very professional looking organization, and let's face it, everybody out there, if the first impression doesn't look good, doesn't matter how good the content is. And you folks really do a good job with projecting, a quality broadcast.
Well, thank you, David. We really appreciate that. And thank you for all your time today and all the wonderful information. We appreciate it. Make sure everybody gets over there to condi.com, and we're going to have links for all the books in the show notes. And so make sure you're buying all of those books. These are must read if you want to be a sublimator or if you just want to be a good business person in general. So,
and I think most of these books are also available as Kindle ebooks. So for people that are into that, I'm not one of them. Typically, I like the real book.
Yep.
But for the folks that are, they are available. They are almost free, so there's really no excuse to continue your education.
Wonderful. Agreed. 100%, David. Awesome, David. Well, thank you very much. And we will talk to you very soon.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was great. And I was all geeked up and for good reason, man. I'm just pumped. I've got a sea of stuff going on in my head right now that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get it all out, but we'll do it. So,
and Aaron, I'm going to go back to the 5 things. Simple, but those things are so important for people to understand when they're starting a business, and those are awesome. And what David didn't mention, and I'm sure everybody already knows this, but Mobile Bay, Mobile, Alabama, that's where the phrase "damn no torpedoes, full speed ahead" came from. Everybody knows that, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm the geek here now.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be the next show. Okay. So wonderful stuff, and agree with you, Terry. That the 5 things at the end there, the 5 reasons for failure. I should have muted my mic because when he said underpricing, he started talking about that. I think I probably audibly was like giggling because it is that to me, that's one of the number one things I see failure wise when people struggle is that, yeah, they're using somebody says, oh, how do you price your products? Oh, you just multiply it times 3 or double it or whatever. Like,
right.
Please stop saying that stuff. Like it's gospel. It's not. It's actually the worst way to price your product. So that's a whole different thing I could go on for hours and hours on. Or in Eric's case, in the embroidery world, the dollar per 1,000 stitch. Yeah, let's eradicate that scourge. Wonderful. All right, Terry. Well, great show today. Great information. Again, we want everybody to check out everything going on over at Condi. There's a reason that they are the best in the space, and you just saw it right there. So let's talk also then, Terry, about some other things coming up. Let me start with Eric, and then I can jump on some things. And I know you've got some other things coming up as well. Yeah. So Eric has got his show at 2:30 Mountain Time. For those of you that work in the center of the universe time, that would be 3:30 for everybody else. Sorry, Eric, I'm kidding. So 2:30 Mountain Time, the take up happening. It is episode 90-ish, 2-ish, maybe 91, 92, 92. Episode 92 today. Oh, I missed reading parts of it. Let's try this again, Terry. I'm blowing it already. Episode 92, Q&A, machine embroidery, stabilizers, support material, hooping, and holidays. Wow.
Hooping and holidays.
Hooping and holidays. I think you just shortened that down to hooping and holidays. But that's more of a Terry thing, I think. But
it is.
And so he'll be covering some recent audience questions about stabilizers, hooping techniques, last minute holiday products, and more. I think that's obviously timely. We're getting past the you've got time to, oh my God, last minute gift options. And so Eric will be bringing you some great last minute holiday products. So head over to ericcampbell.com and click the take up tab at the top for the playlist. As we already kind of mentioned with Impressions, Eric will have multiple sessions coming up into the Impressions Expo Long Beach. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't know, the 12, the Eric Campbell wing of the training will be happening there. And so if you want to head over to impressionsexpo.com, you can get registered and everything going on. And then he also has a new post on hooping up at ericcampbell.com. So more coming soon. He is listening. So if you have things you'd like to learn about from Eric, please reach out to him. You can just do it through his website there at ericcampbell.com. So that is Eric. I will share a couple things that I've got real quick, Terry, and then we'll get to yours if that works for you.
Sure.
Okay. So on Wednesday, December 8th, next Wednesday at noon Eastern time, 11 Center of the Universe time, I am part of a Success Principles presentation with 4 other Success Principles trainers. It's called Master 2022. And we're going to talk about success strategies to change your life. It is a 60-minute presentation and then a 15-minute Q&A thereafter. You can join us live and be in the Zoom room and be able to ask questions and participate. You just put your details in at successkeys.cc, and I think that's what throws people is the .cc at the end, but it's successkeys.cc. And that way you can join us live, or if you put your details in there and you can't make it to the live, that's how you get the recorded version of it. And plus each of the presenters is going to have some kind of form or extra kind of goodie worksheet thing for you. And so to be able to get all of those, you've got to go to successkeys.cc. So I'm pretty excited about that opportunity to do that with those 4 other trainers. And they are my mastermind group too. So these are good friends of mine. And I really am excited about this. So that, and then next coming up here in about 29 minutes, catch the half with Eric Campbell and myself. It is a wide open 30 minutes of Q&A. There's no script, no outline, just answering listener questions. It is the one time in Eric and I's life that 30 minutes actually means 30 minutes, right? No bonus time. And so tune in at liveosg.com or at facebook.com/our success group pro. The liveosg.com gets you to YouTube. While at YouTube or Facebook, just search ERICH Campbell.com, or not .com, just search Eric Campbell and make sure that you are subscribed on his channels, because you can watch them there at his channels as well. And then the last thing for me, and I'll finally shut up here, Terry, is we have that year-end success sale that I mentioned at our success group. The other 2 parts of that I didn't mention earlier is that we do have a special on both our Club OSG membership and the OSG squad level membership. And so if Club OSG is something that interests you, you just want the live training, and we kind of redid that program for 2022. You can check all that out over at oursuccessgroup.com. But the first month is only $5 to get you started, and then $19 a month after that. Or if you want to go with our full membership, the OSG Squad membership, we'll get you started for the first month at $1, and then it's $79 thereafter. So you can cancel those anytime, and so check it out. I think it's just worth that small investment to check things out. oursuccessgroup.com, and those deals are going through the end of the year. So that's what I've got, Terry. Finally, it's your turn, sir.
All right. My complete screen printing business course with Atlas Screen Supply in Chicago. My for 2022 will be March 5th and 6th. Plus, I have 3 other Chicago dates up on my website. And this week, we finalized dates with Workhorse Products in Phoenix. So the first screen printing class there will be February 19th and 20th. And the rest of the 2022 schedule for Workhorse Products is also on my website. So look for all my upcoming events at terrycombs.com.
Awesome.
And that's it for me.
Awesome. All right. Well, a couple quick comments before we close it out here. Sheila said, this is awesome information. Thanks, David. I totally agree. Jerry says the spreadsheet from Condi is great. And Tim Allen says, great show, guys. And then Creative Vibe Design Studios says, great show, guys. Thanks for keeping me company while I cleaned out the closet in my craft room. All right. Good job. Glad we could help. Move that over there. Nope. Okay. Let's get that thrown away. Okay.
Glad we can help without getting our hands dirty.
So. Yeah. That's even better. Even better. Awesome. Okay. Well, Terry, I think we've come to the close of another show. We want to thank David Gross over at Condi Systems for tuning in, or not tuning in, for being here with us. He tunes in every week, he says, which is awesome. Right. And being here with us. I mean, that was so cool, Terry. We got the history, we got the future, we got the processes. I mean, you couldn't ask for much more when it comes to sublimation, I don't think, Terry.
I agree 100%, and perfect guest for that.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. All right. Well, thanks very much, David. And make sure you guys check him out over there at condi.com or conditv.com. We'll get you to their YouTube page. But yeah, check him out. And he even gave us his email address. What an amazing guy. So thanks, David.
Exactly. So we also want to thank our show producer, Eric Campbell. So while Aaron and I are just talking away here, Eric is in the background grabbing websites and posting things and working hard. So we appreciate everything you do with this for us, Eric, and every week.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks very much, Eric. Next week, Terry, dust off your tuxedo, my friend. It is time to announce the winners of the 9th annual Reggie Awards. And so we're excited. Like Terry said, been lots of activity. I've had to upgrade the service and all sorts of different stuff. So people are working hard. We did something new this year. You can't actually see the winners. It used to be where you voted, you could actually see who was leading. But, let's see how this goes this year. So
get over there and get your votes in.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Exactly. So until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And we are the Two Regular Guys.
Here we go. We're out.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.